Hey guys, Mike here. In this video, we're going to talk about alternate tunings. We're going to go through how to tune down a half step, how to tune down a full step. We'll talk about tuning down to drop D. We'll talk about moving to open D. And then we'll talk about moving down to drop C. So let's get started. So we're in E standard right now. We want to move everything down a half step. That means is that we want to take the E, move it down to an E flat. The A is going to go to an A flat, D, D flat, G, G flat, B, B flat, and E, E flat. So the weird thing about most tuners that I find is that there's no flat indication, it's always sharp. So let's go one string at a time and I'll show you what I mean. So right now it reads an E. I'm actually a little flat. When I go down to the next pitch, it's going to show D sharp. So D sharp is the same thing as E flat. It's the same pitch, but just two different notes. So the next tuning we're going to tackle is moving down a whole step. What that means is that each string is going to go down a full step. So our E is going to drop down to a D. Also call this D standard. E goes down to a D. A goes down to a G. D goes back to a C. G goes to an F. B goes down to an A. E goes down to a D. Now because this is such a drastic D tune, we're definitely going to want to go back and check these strings out. Alright, next up is what we call drop D tuning. A drop tuning is when you take your low E string and drop it down to a certain pitch. In this case, we're going to use drop D. What we're going to do is just simply take our low E string, bring it down to a D, and that's it. That's the entire tuning. So by dropping the low E, gives us even some more depth. So another cool thing about drop D tuning or any drop tuning is that the first three strings rather, if you bar them, you create a power chord. So I just switch up to natural tuning real quick. It's 3-5-5 on the E, A, and D string, regular power chord. If I drop this down to drop D, I go 5-5-5, same power chord. The next tuning that we're going to do is open drop D. Basically what's going to happen is that when we play all 6 of our strings, it's going to create a D chord. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm in E standard, E, A, D, G, B, E. We're going to start with our E. That's going to go down to a D. We're going to keep our A string. D string's good. We're going to bring the G down to an F sharp. B's going to go down to an A. Ooh, come on, buddy. There you are. And the E's going to go down to a D. And as always, double check your strings. And there's our open D right there. All right, and the last tuning that we'll cover is drop C. This is a super popular key for metal and hard rock and like alternative rock and stuff like that. So check it out. So the first thing you want to do is take the guitar and tune it down a whole step or to D natural. So let's do that. We can go to E. Bring it down to a D. A is going to go down to a G. D is going to go down to a C. G is going to go down to an F. B is going to go down to an A. E is going to go down to a D. Go back and double check them. That's good. C is good. G is good. Low C is a D sharp, so we definitely want to bring that to a D. G, C. F, A, D. Now what I would do here is just check, play a couple open chords or a couple chords just to make sure everything's in tune. And then from there, what you want to do is take your new low D and drop it down to a C. D, C sharp, down to a C. Now this is the exact same concept as drop D. So what would normally be a power chord like 3, 5, 5 here, if you play 5, 5, 5 on the E on your low 3 strings, a power chord again. So there you go, guys. 5 common tunings that you're going to come across in contemporary styles. If this super helped, make sure you give it a like. I would highly suggest bookmarking the video, and if you need to refer back to it, or you get kind of tripped up in a tab or something like that, where you kind of forget how to drop down to E flat or how drop C works, bookmark the video and go back to it. I've done it like a million times with everything. So, and as always, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon. Thanks.